What's going on, everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about how to go vegan when you're living in a non-vegan household. So if you clicked on this video, it probably means you want to go vegan but you're not sure how to do it, and you came in the right place. This video is just going to be one video of a playlist that I'm going to be creating to help you go vegan, how to go vegan, how to talk to your parents, how to be vegan in a non-vegan household. We're gonna make sure to go through all the steps to help you go vegan in the easiest way possible. It's very important to note that there's actually two different categories here. There's those of us who live with our parents or our guardian and they are not vegan, but we wanna go vegan, but we don't financially depend on them. And then there's a second one where we live with them, but we also depend on them. So we're going to start quickly with the first one because it's a much easier and short part. And that's for those of you who live with your parents or guardian and you don't depend on them financially. So for those of you who are in that situation, if you don't depend on them, it means you have the independence to buy whatever you want for lunch. Now, every other obstacle that you might be facing, we're going to be talking about it in the second category, and it also applies to you, so stay here and keep watching the video. For those of you who live with your parents or your guardian and also depend on them financially, when you decide to go vegan, it's probably going to go one of these ways. First is they're going to be supportive, they're going to help you to go vegan. Second is they're not going to be supportive and it's going to be difficult. So this video is mainly for you. To start off, once you learn about veganism, once you have the information on the health aspect, on the ethical aspect, on the sustainable aspect, or the human rights aspect, you have all these informations, and you want to make sure that when you speak with your parents about the fact that you want to go vegan, you have to tell them why. They have to know why you're doing it so that they understand you better and they don't think you're just doing it to rebel against them or because you're jumping on a trend or something. So know the information that you're going to be sharing with them and then sit down and tell them why you have decided to go vegan. This is very important because it also makes them realize that you have thought this through. This is not just like some random decision you're taking out of nowhere. You're not having a moment where you want to do something different. Make them realize that you have thought about it and you want to make that change, and therefore you're sharing the reason why you want to make that change. Now we have to keep in mind that if your parents are against you going vegan, it probably comes from their best intentions. They probably don't have the information that you do. They probably think it's going to be unhealthy for you, and therefore they're going to be kind of against you. And keep in mind, we do live in a society where people have been so brainwashed for decades, if not hundreds of years, that they have to eat animal products. So when your parents say no in the beginning, don't lose it in front of them, or don't start fighting with them. Understand where they're coming from. If they care about you, they love you, they want the best for you, understand that and appreciate it. And once you understand that, you can also start sharing the facts with them. For example, the most important part is for them to know that the biggest nutrition and dietetic centers in the world have already confirmed that a balanced whole foods plant-based diet is enough to get all the nutrients you need at all stages of life, including infancy, pregnancy, or old age. So that means that eating animal products is completely unnecessary for you to be healthy and thrive. And once you share this information with them, try to give them some resources as well. Send them the website of pcrm.org, the Physicians Committee of Responsible Medicine. Show them nutritionfacts.org, an amazing website with all the nutrition facts that you need to know about eating a plant-based diet. The second thing you want to do is actually give them the information in a more entertaining way. So propose watching a documentary together. If you want to cook one day, have a dinner together, sit down and watch a documentary. You can start off with a documentary based on the environmental impact of eating animals. You can watch Cowspiracy, and then you can watch a health-based documentary like What the Health, The Game Changers, Force Over Knives, and then you can also show them a documentary that is based on the ethics of veganism. That would be, for example, Dominion or Earthlings. These are very heavy documentaries to watch, but they're a must, I would say, for almost every single person to see what is happening to animals and to understand what speciesism is and why we should switch to a vegan diet to help the animals as much as we can. Now keep in mind, if you do want to keep them interested, you have to try not to show them Dominion and Earthlings from day one, because they can just shut down and not want to hear anything about veganism from the beginning.
Double stamp! You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd! You can't triple stamp a double stamp! Lloyd! You guys!
But if you start with Cowspiracy and then health-based, they're going to be more open to it. And then finally one day you can say, listen, there's this last documentary, I really want you to watch it to really understand the core of veganism. And then you can show them Dominion or Earthlings. If you feel like your parents are having a bit of doubt about you going vegan, feel free to show them some easy vegan recipes that you can find on the internet. Remind them that a lot of the things that they've been cooking all this time are probably vegan already. You can just point out what they're making. If they're making rice and beans and things like that and salads, you know, those are all vegan meals. There's like 75,000 edible plants. We're always obsessed about eating 5 dead animals and what comes out of their bodies. So remind your parents that it's not gonna be a huge change, you know. A lot of the meals that we cook nowadays, we make them vegan from the beginning and then we end up adding animal products in it. So you make the pasta, you make the sauce, and then you add cheese, you know, then it's no longer vegan. Stick to the pasta and the sauce, you know, that's gonna be just as good, if not better. Now, one more thing that's really important is to actually show that you are dedicated to this. And you can do this by actually stepping up your game and cooking for yourself as well. You know, you wanna help them do the shopping, help them cook. This is gonna make them realize that not only are they gonna get the help for you to make this change, but you are actually dedicated for this. You are committed and you want to go vegan no matter what. Therefore, you are stepping up and doing some work as well. Once you do this, they're gonna be much more accepting to your veganism because they're gonna realize you have taken this so seriously that you are even putting some effort. And to be honest, you're gonna have to learn how to cook one day, so might as well start now. Now let's quickly talk of what could go wrong. This is one of the videos that I've been asked to do the most, so I really want to talk about the difficulties as well. Now, what could go wrong is your parents being against the idea of you going vegan. They might have read some article somewhere that said someone's child went vegan and they had this disease or that deficiency, or someone killed their baby on a vegan diet, and then they're gonna be so afraid of what's gonna happen that they're gonna say no. Another thing that could happen is they're gonna feel some pressure from you because basically when you say you wanna go vegan and you mention your reasons, they're probably gonna think that you also mean that they haven't been good parents all this time because they were not feeding you a vegan diet. This is very important. You have to make sure you don't make your parents feel guilty for what they've done so far out of ignorance. If they didn't know, you can't blame them, but you can share the information with them. And while you're doing so, please make sure you don't make them feel that this is something that you're doing to be against them or to kind of mean that so far they have failed you as parents. If you do that, they're gonna jump in self-defense, and believe me, not gonna be easy. So we already covered the part where they're gonna be open to the message. We've talked about the part where they're kind of open but they're skeptical about it. Let's talk about the part where this could go completely wrong. Let's say they're gonna be fully against you going vegan. Now, personally, in my activism, I would never ever advocate for reducing your animal product consumption. I believe that as vegan activists, as animal rights activists, we should always do our best to give a clear vegan message. But we also have to be realistic. If you are in a situation where your parents or your guardians are not letting you go fully vegan, you have no other option but try to reduce. I say this for 2 reasons. 1, you don't want to feel that you lost. 2, it does in a very small way impact the animals. So, what I mean by reducing is if you are eating animal-based products almost every single day because your parents or guardians are cooking for you, you're gonna have to try to suggest that maybe on one meal throughout every single day or one full day throughout the week, you eat a vegan meal. And when you do this, you also have to do everything else that we mentioned. Shop with them, help them cook, show that you are committed. Now, the reason why I say that this could work is because with time, they might realize that, okay, this is not as bad as we thought. It's not as difficult as we thought. It's definitely not expensive. And therefore, they might be more on board with you going vegan one day. Once you do that, you're doing one day, obviously it's not as good as being fully vegan, but you can start aiming at 2 days. You know, if you had asked for vegan Mondays, start asking for vegan Wednesdays as well. This could help with time to have more vegan days and eventually have a fully vegan week, and you can go vegan that way as well. One important thing to mention here is that if your parents are strict, but they're kind of letting you to have that one vegan meal or one vegan day a week, use positive reinforcement. This is so important. You have to make them realize that what they're doing is something good so that they feel more motivated to give you another vegan day, another vegan meal, and hopefully at the end let you go vegan. This applies to everyone you're going to talk to about veganism. Use positive reinforcement as much as you can to help people go vegan. This is so important. Keep in mind that we do live in a species society where animals are subjected legally to a lot of torture and slaughter, and this this is so widely accepted that most people need a lot of encouragement and motivation to go vegan or help their child go vegan. One general advice I would give to anyone in this situation is always try your best to find a vegan friend whose parents could speak with your parents about veganism, or even someone whose parents are vegan who could talk to your parents, because when they get that information from someone else, it is no longer coming from their child. And we all know that in families there is a certain type of hierarchy, and it's kind of difficult for parents to accept something similar from their child because it can basically mean that they haven't been so good at parenting. So if you can get someone to talk to your parents about this subject, it's going to help so much more. It's also going to normalize it more. They're going to see that other people are doing it as well, and they're completely healthy, so it's going to be for the best. Now, in my personal experience, none of my family members went vegan in the first years, but eventually last year my mom went vegan, and I have to say I was so shocked. I never thought that my mom would go vegan, and she's really strict with it. She doesn't do any exceptions, which is how any vegan should be, of course. But I was really happy when I found out about my mom going vegan. So I will be making another video of how to talk to your parents about veganism to help them go vegan, because that's another subject that I get asked a lot about to make videos. That being said, keep in mind the most important things are to always use positive reinforcement, be open, be friendly. Remember that you didn't know this information all this time either. Try to help your parents, shop with them, cook with them, encourage them to watch documentaries with you, especially if they're just in the beginning and they're not very sure. Make sure they get the right information. That's so important. They have to know that what they're letting you do is good for you and good for the environment. Talk to them about the fact that your own future is actually in danger because of the animal agriculture industry, and that could probably make them realize, alright, what is the best thing for my child? Again, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. I am gonna be linking everything I mentioned in the description as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It's very important because this is gonna be a series of videos about going vegan and the different obstacles you might face. The next video is gonna be about how to make your parents go vegan. I'm really excited for that, and we will have many more videos as well. If you want me to do a specific video, leave that in the comment section below. If you want to support my work, check out my Patreon or ethics-over-habits.com for some vegan fair trade merchandise. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.